This is episode 374 of the 3 Point Podcast, and we are presented by the Memorial Healthcare Wellness Center. The Memorial Orthopedic Walk-In Clinic is now available for those sports-related injuries, Monday through Fridays, 8 to noon, no appointment needed. The clinic is designed for those unexpected moments when injuries strike. Details at memorialhealthcare.org. Make sure you also follow the Wellness Center on Facebook. Also want to thank our other great partners. They include AZee Branding Solutions, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori and Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Rivals Taphouse and Grille. By the way, I've been pretty busy, you guys. I don't know if you've noticed it, but I've been doing a lot of things. Last Wednesday, I went out to Rivals for trivia night. We just had a little castle sports meeting, and just happened to be trivia night. We finished second, thanks to the Bart man. So I did all right.
He 100% is a trivia nut. That makes sense that he would be very good at that.
He's borderline genius.
Yeah.
Don't tell him I said that, but he is amazing.
What was usually trivia nights have like a theme, whether it's like 90s movies or, classic rock, or was there a theme?
This was music. So it was right up our alley.
Right up your alley. Yep.
Yeah. In fact, we did really great, but then they have a segment where it's a bonus round. So you either wager all your points from that round, or you just don't do anything. You don't lose anything. You've done it. You guys have done it. And there was just a picture of this woman's eyes. And immediately, two people at the table said, "That's Selma Hayek." And we all kind of looked at it and said, "Okay, yeah, it looks like her." We got that one wrong, and that just put us behind the 8 ball. We finished second, but that killed us right there. It was Jessica Alba.
Jennifer Lopez or something? Oh, okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Jessica Alba, yeah.
What's the connection to music there?
They're not all music questions.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, was she in a music video, or was there like something?
Well, here's how they do it too. Bart went out to call his mother, and we missed him on that one. Part of the music thing is there's a clue, and they played a song from some movie she was in. He comes back in and says, "Oh no, it was Jessica Alba."
Of course.
But anyway, Rivals
blame him.
Rivals go out there on weekends to watch football, go out there Wednesday nights for free trivia. Also, we want to thank Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, the Shiawassee County Fair, and ALS of Michigan. I got kind of off a tangent there, guys. That was Wednesday of the start of the big weekend for me. But Labor Day, there's been discussions. Is it the official end of summer? What do you guys think?
I think it's kind of like depending on where you live, of course, in the country, because it stays warmer in the South, obviously longer. But I know for my family that we've talked about on this podcast before, my parents retired up to Ludington in northern Michigan. And so my family, they were all up there over the weekend up in Ludington, and the pictures and the videos and stuff they were sending, they're in like hoodies and they're in like, caps on, but then they spend a beach day, because it's still like, it's that weird time where it's like mornings and nights, it's like cold, but then, during the day it was still warm, because they still like had a couple beach days up there. So, but then now for sure, as we move into September, it definitely starts moving towards fall, even down here in North Carolina. I mean, we went to the beach over the weekend, over the Labor Day weekend, and, the beach was packed, because I think a lot of people see that as like the last summer weekend of the year. And I talked to a couple locals, and it was just, the beach that we went to, it's one of our favorite ones. And it was kind of like, the locals, and I'm thinking about my parents up in Ludington, or maybe even you, Ted, out on the lake, or whether you're on a beach town or whatever, all the tourists come. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, done. Summer's over and it's quiet, and people at the beach, that's kind of what they were saying. The locals, they're like, obviously they thrive on the tourism, but then, some people don't really like the tourism because it brings those big crowds and stuff. But then all of a sudden it's almost like a snap of a finger, and the beach is just quiet, and it's just the locals. And, that my parents were talking about that the beach and everything up in Ludington is moving to just the locals up there now that Labor Day is done. So anyway, I don't know if you guys kind of feel the same way. Obviously school starting and football starting is kind of a sign too, but Labor Day usually seems to be like summer, check, done.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I threw it out a couple weeks ago. Summer ended for me 2 weeks ago, man. And it made you guys upset. It made you guys upset. Basically called me an idiot for saying that. When it snaps our fingers, and here we are. Summer's officially over. It's once you see that finish line in sight, once you start hearing the rumblings of school, which really is pretty much once the calendar turns August, in my opinion, that's when it officially comes. To me, it's like, now we were in the terrible part of fall, which was the last couple of weeks. Now we're in fall peak, which is this next 6-7 weeks where football's on the TV and the weather is not brutally cold, but the leaves are starting to turn. I mean, this 6-week window is the pinnacle of the calendar, in my opinion. Now that I'm not in school and I don't actually have a summer break, it is the best time of year.
Yeah, it is really good. And I guess for me, just to put it plainly, Labor Day has always been the end of summer for me, and here in Michigan. And on top of that, it is the start of football season. So yeah, it's and again, it's not PC anymore, but really it's kind of the end of summer, but the beginning of Indian summer, leading to fall.
Right.
Kind of what it is here.
Oh, we know what you're talking about with that, because even in Michigan, maybe you get that stretch where it's like summer's done, but then that 1 week or maybe it's not a full week, but you get those few days where it gets back up in the 80s.
Yep.
And it like teases you, so that's what you're talking about. And kind of along those lines, we'll talk more about obviously the Michigan game against New Mexico this past weekend, but it was the Michigan Twitter account or the Michigan football account. One of them tweeted out a picture of like game day schedule. It was like, parking lots open at this time and all the events throughout the day. Then obviously it ended with the kickoff at 7:30 or whatever. And then at the bottom, it had the weather for the day. And it said like sunny, 72, 0% chance of rain. And that's exactly what you're talking about, Jared. I told my wife that. I was like, this is exactly, you hear people say like football weather is when it's like 30 degrees and cold. And I'm like, no, I want that. 70 degrees, no humidity, no rain. Just perfect. Not too hot, not cold. And it just made me think, man, everyone there tailgating and then going to the game or, whatever you did, that's just like peak perfect weather. But
you talk about that, and it kind of leads into another topic I wanted to talk about here in this portion of the podcast. I went down to the Tiger game today. It was awesome. They picked up a win finally. I had to get them going back again, getting in the right direction. 6-2 they won.
You had been a bad luck charm all season though, right?
50-50. Okay. The bachelor party game was a disaster. Nobody was paying attention to the game and they got drilled. But today was fun. And you're talking about the weather. Absolutely spectacular. I always like to go to some afternoon games and picked a good one because kids are back in school, so the crowd was down. Actually, I had a media credential, and I took my wife along with me, and we got a StubHub ticket just to get in the ballpark for $10. It was $6 they were selling the ticket for, and $4 fee. But
right,
but $10 to get in, and we sat some of the best seats we've ever sat in before. Not behind home plate, but the same type of seats, right behind the first base dugout. Nice. In the shade. We were the last row of the lower part of the stadium, before the concourse. And we were section 122B, row H, 1 and 2, seats 1 and 2.
It's the best seat in the park. That's why I've said that before. It's the best seat right where you're at. It's right by where FanDuel's set is. That's the primo spot. You can't beat that spot right there.
No, and I used a little salesmanship, boys. You'd be proud of me. I did have my media credential, but the usher, she said, "Let me see your ticket." I just held it up there, and I said, "Hey, listen, if somebody shows up, we'll move. We'll be polite and we'll move." She says, "Okay, just don't make a mess." We were able to sit there the whole game. It was awesome. Right. Nobody showed up, man. It was tremendous.
You're like an usher's worst nightmare. Also worsen because sometimes you might give them a tip on the handshake with a $20 bill in the hand. But
right,
you always. It seems like I remember Fenway. That was your big takeaway, was how you got the usher to let you in, and then today it's the usher. You look to squeeze something out of those guys every time you see them.
That's something I learned from my mother. You kill them with kindness. You don't be a dick about anything. You just be nice, and usually you get rewarded. I will say this, boys, you'll appreciate this too. So I went through the whole media thing, where you go through the metal detector and you talk to the nice ladies who scan your badges, Jared. And there's a limo pulled right out beside the door there where you go in. So I knew it had to be somebody like Cabrera or somebody. It was Willie Horton. 82-year-old Willie Horton. So I just kind of hung there for a minute, and see, he came in. He's not moving really good. He's 82 years old and struggled a little bit, but he came up and he had to take a little break by the counter there, and I was standing there waiting for him because I wanted to talk to him for a second. And I came up to him and I said, "Hey, Willie," I told him who I was. I said, "I don't know if you remember, but years ago, I hosted a radio show in Owasso. And it was at a restaurant called Chip's Place." And I said, "I don't know if you remember it, but you were there, and it was a huge success." He goes, yeah, I remember it. And, we shook hands. Nice. And I said, hang in there. I hope your health is better, and have a good game today. But it was great. He's a legend, man.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah. Detroit legend. I didn't know he rolled around like that, like in a limo. That is actually kind of surprising.
I think Illich probably set it up to pick him up,
sense. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Also, I'm kind of dominated this conversation, but let me set this one up for you. We're going to talk more college football, but last Thursday, I decided to go up instead of going to a high school game. We went and watched Ferris beat Pittsburgh State 34-17. Corunna's Wyatt Bauer got the start at quarterback, and it was pretty cool. Tony Annese, man, he's definitely one of the best college coaches, period. Mm-hmm. He played it perfectly. 10 minutes before the game, he tells Wyatt he's starting, and Wyatt kind of goes, he tells his dad and his grandpa, hey, I'm starting, this and that. And he kind of took it like, this is wild, telling me only 10 minutes before the game, but that's a Fox move right there. Yeah. Tony didn't want him to be all hyped up all day long, waiting for that 6 o'clock kickoff. Just tell him right before the game, you're prepared. And, guys, kid can play. 11 of 18, over 100 yards passing, 100 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, a touchdown pass. He can play football, and he's good.
It was like it was a Corunna orgasm watching you live tweet Corunna quarterback coaching or playing underneath a former Corunna alum and Tony Annese at Ferris. It was awesome. It was awesome. No, he's a freaking stud. I mean, we didn't need to see that on Thursday to know that. I think everybody who saw Corunna play the last couple of years that he was there was like, wow, these two brothers are going to be studs wherever they go in college. It's freaking awesome to see, man. I'm excited to follow them along the way. It's the next line of star quarterbacks they've had at Ferris, and it's just as a redshirt freshman. It's pretty amazing to think about where his career is going to go from here.
No, it really is, because the national title team last year, Trinidad Chambliss, he transferred to the quarterback who was there, transferred to Ole Miss. So that kind of opened the door for Wyatt, and he obviously put the work in and earned that opportunity. But watching, I mean, your tweets, Ted, but also the what is it, the Flow Zone, the Flow Network. Flow Sports that broadcast their game. They were also tweeting out highlights. So from like the game view, from the game camera, he pops out on camera. You know what I mean? Some guys, when they score, you're like, okay, yeah. But like when he takes off on runs and when he throws, he has some zip on the ball and he has speed. And I don't know how much he weighed in high school, but you can tell he put on some weight. Yeah, I mean, he looks big. And Jared, I mean, we all have, but Jared, you for sure have glowed about Tony Annese's offense. If he keeps putting in the work in, which we know he will, and keeps developing in Tony Annese's offense, he might win the D2 Heisman. I forget what that trophy's called off the top of my head.
Harlan Hill.
Yeah, exactly. He might at least compete for the Harlan Hill, because he's only going to get better. And I don't know if you guys watched the post-game presser with Tony. Wyatt was in it.
Yep.
And Tony was pumping him up. He was pumping him up. He was saying this kid can play. So, I mean, like you said, Jared, redshirt freshman, I mean, sky's the limit.
Yeah, how much high praise can you get from a guy like Tony Annese when the reporter asked the question, what are you going to do with your quarterback room this year? And he paused for a second. He said, well, Wyatt's my guy. We'll find room for the other guys to get some minutes, but Wyatt's my quarterback. And that
my only complaint, he's got to get the visor on, man. It's like,
he kept the hair
not be rocking the visor. I understand why maybe he doesn't like it, but I mean, you're missing a big opportunity in the swag department not rocking the visor. I don't get it. Neither of those brothers do, and I just don't get it. But that's just my take.
He kept the hair though.
Yeah, he kept the hair. Tarek was pretty clever too, and he had a real solid game on special teams. He's backup receiver right now. He's listed number 2. I expect he'll be starting to see some playing time down the road as a wideout. But he was pretty clever because he wears the black sleeve down one leg, and then the other leg's kind of bare. So you look out there, you see right where he's at, right? So you know where he's at.
Yep. Would you? I can't imagine it would put a twister in your brain if they wore the same exact stuff and were number 1 and number 0 or something. It would be hard for you to tell. But it's so cool that. And I was checking the scores and all that. The only bummer is, man, Corunna played at the same time. I couldn't watch Corunna's game because Fowlerville, for whatever reason, doesn't have NFHS. They're maybe the only program in the entire state that doesn't. Wow. So that was a nice little, way to kind of lessen that blow, was seeing your tweets and seeing how awesome they're performing. That's a big time win. That's their only loss from last year.
I know.
And they already avenged it. So they're ready for another run at the national title this year with them leading them.
Yeah, they look good. And Tony, again, great coaching. He had a fake punt call that was a big strike. And, the little guy, Brady Rose, had a hell of a game as well. Yeah.
He's a football player. I was going to ask, not any sort of criticism or anything like that, but what's the game day experience like, for your opinion, at Ferris? Because I just remember when I was at Grand Valley State, I mean, when I was there, it was when they were winning national titles.
Right.
People would always criticize the game day experience at Grand Valley State. They would be like, this is a national championship winning program, in D2. And the game day, again, this is also 20 years ago now, but, they would criticize it. Like, they would think, I think they were trying to think they're going to a Michigan football game or a Michigan State football game, but you're in Allendale. So what was your opinion of, the game day experience?
To be honest, I thought it was very good. It is D2, like you're talking about. I mean, I think there was 10,000 fans there, but the stadium's pretty cool. Top Taggart Fields, the home side was packed. It was packed. And then they have the student section is behind the one end zone. And that was completely packed, and I was in my glory because my wife was out of town. I was doing my thing. I was down on the field. There's nothing like being on the field for games, Yeah. So it was great. I mean, the atmosphere was fantastic, and they're building a new student center, student athlete center.
Sweet.
Yeah, right behind the other goalpost. So
cool.
They're spending money up there, and the game day experience was excellent. It was really good. Yeah,
and they've definitely improved it probably since you were there, Matt, at Grand Valley. I remember I had an official. Well, I didn't have an official visit. God no, my buddy had an official visit to Grand Valley, and I tagged along with him. And I remember walking through the tailgate scene, and I was like a 17-year-old. I remember going, "Holy crap, man! Like, you got to go here. I don't care, like, what about the football, but wow, this is a freaking time. This looks like the time of my life. Pretty girls everywhere. Sure enough, I was kind of selling myself on that school a few years down the road, and I didn't even know it. So, yeah, it's awesome.
Well, it was great to see the kids debut, and we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on Ferris this season. But way to go, Dogs! Now it's on to week 2. I think they're on the road at Lake Erie, so see what they can get done this weekend. All right, let's pause it right here. Unless you guys got anything else to add to the catch-up portion, let's take a quick break and come back, talk a little college football, including the debut of a young quarterback at the University of Michigan. We'll be right back right after this. All right, guys, who wants to start it? We'll start with Michigan football, 34-17 over New Mexico. And as I kind of teased, Bryce Underwood lived up to all the hype.
You go ahead.
He did. Jared, did you watch any of his games at Belleville? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we covered him. Let's see, what all games did we? Probably 5 of his games. And I actually I followed him for an entire day at Belleville, which was kind of wild to see the number 1 recruit going through school, going through classes, going to practice. We interviewed him in their auditorium. So I was blown away from him from that day. And that was only when he was only a junior. He was committed to LSU at the time. But yeah, he's lived up to the billing. That's pretty easy to say.
Yeah. The reason I ask is because it seems like a lot of people, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I watched a full Belleville game from start to finish, but I would definitely check in on not just the highlights, but even, longer form clips of him playing, especially after he committed to Michigan. And it seems like a lot of people weren't believing the hype. And now after seeing him in his first game, again, against New Mexico, so, it's not like it was LSU or it's not like it was Clemson or something like that. But I think it was this is why he was the number 1 recruit, just watching him throw. I saw Dan Orlovsky did like a 5-minute breakdown of I think it was 3 or 4 of his passes. And Dan Orlovsky is already glowing about him, just the way he throws. One of the throws that he highlighted was an incomplete pass. He just loved the way he read the defense. Joel Klatt, of course, a lot of people say Michigan's biggest fan in the broadcast booth, Joel Klatt, glowing about Bryce Underwood. So I just wasn't sure if, your experience of seeing him up close at Belleville, if you were like, this is what he was the whole time.
He blew me away as a thrower. And that's what's crazy to me is they didn't even run him. That's my one criticism. I hope it's not a telltale sign of what's coming the rest of the year. His most dynamic feature is his legs. He's obviously great throwing, but I mean, he could be 1,000-yard rusher if Michigan wanted him to. Obviously maybe they don't want to get him dinged up. Maybe they're saving that stuff for the Oklahoma game to get show that on tape, but he didn't run the ball at all. And I'm telling you, he is a game wrecker when it comes to running the football. It's so impressive. I mean, what more can we say? I mean, going into that game, it was going to be pretty hard to come away impressed, just given the opponent, and especially considering they only won by 17 points. But anybody who watched that game saw, to me, the number one play that really blew me away was him throwing that block on that touchdown run. It was kind of a nothing play. It didn't matter. He was going to run it in anyway. To me, it just showed the competitor. It showed the confidence. It showed the toughness. It showed the willingness to compete, which we'll talk about Arch Manning. I mean, his QB sneak he had in that Ohio State game. Like, what the hell is going on here? Bryce Underwood gets that touchdown in that Ohio State-Texas game. I just believe in this kid. It's impressive that with all the hype that went into it, it seems like he still blew away expectations. I was very impressed. I was very pleased with what I saw. This is a team that I think is ready to go and ready to upset Oklahoma as like a 5.5-point underdog next week. I'm excited with what this team showed.
Yeah, I agree with your assessment of Underwood. I mean, he threw that great block, but the thing that really stood out to me was he can zip that ball as fast as anybody in college football, but then he had that nice little touch down, with the back against the end zone, that little touch pass to the tight end. It was amazing. He could do both.
Yeah, he definitely showed that he can do the touch passes. Maybe there's a couple times he needs to take a little bit off. There were a couple throws that he threw a fastball and his receiver wasn't quite ready for it. But I mean, all that stuff will come. Right. I think that is 100% what has Michigan fans most excited, and rightfully so. I mean, we had JJ McCarthy for 3 years, kind of like 2.5 years or whatever. But I think Bryce Underwood and JJ McCarthy was a top 10 pick in the NFL. Bryce Underwood has the potential anyway to take it to another level than what JJ McCarthy did. And I'm very curious, kind of like you said, Jared, they didn't really run with him. I'm curious to see the play calling once Bryce Underwood gets his feet under him and gets, maybe a handful of starts under his belt. Are they going to do more designed runs? Because I feel like that was a criticism with McCarthy. We were like, man, why aren't they, running him a little more? You would think they would with Underwood. Maybe not, because the run game looks pretty good. So, no, the offense, I think everything appears to be there, for the offense. Obviously, hoping Underwood develops. The defense, I don't know what you guys thought. I mean, outside of the game felt weird.
It did. Because
it kind of felt like New Mexico was right there. But really, if you kind of take a step back, it wasn't a close game. I mean, even though at one point it was a 1-score game, they were never going to win. No. It was 2 long drives that kind of did Michigan in, and then a couple little trick plays or whatever. But really, I saw Michigan played 31 guys on defense. Obviously, that's going to tighten up probably this weekend versus Oklahoma. They were clearly trying to give some guys some snaps, after camp or whatever. That's my assumption anyway. But I saw people criticizing the defense. Oh, they're going to get cooked against Oklahoma. Oh, this, they lost so many guys to the NFL. It's like, no, the defense is somewhere that I'm not worried about.
Right.
Yeah,
but they are.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say they are going to be one guy short. I don't know how much we want to get into that.
I mean, let's talk about that, and that's also a big explanation of where, I think New Mexico had 21 first downs in offense, which I was at the game. We talk about it every time one of us goes to a game. The way you take in a game when you're there versus on TV, it's like you miss half the stuff. When that Barham play happened and they were reviewing it and they announced that he was ejected for targeting, I was so perplexed. Nowhere when that play happened did I view it and go targeting. This guy should be ejected. Oh, and he's going to miss half of maybe the biggest game of the year outside of Ohio State. Just a crazy call. And to me, the thing that bothers me the most is how they review it after the game and they stand on what they called. How is that a targeting? Am I crazy? Right. How is that at all? I think we're all in agreement. How is that a goddamn targeting?
Yeah.
Was picture perfect. Yeah. Did he hit helmet to helmet? Maybe, but it was the face of the helmet and he wrapped him up high. He tackled him like you're supposed to.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, targeting is when you launch and you basically go helmet to helmet. We all know that play. That wasn't targeting. That's unintentional. Right. They should have rectified that after the fact. I'm with you, Matt, on the defense. I actually walked into work and I got bombarded. Man, their defense looked horrible. I don't know. I was watching the same game you guys were. A couple of bad penalty calls that kept extending drives. The defense felt like they were on the field the entire damn game. Because when Michigan's offense was out there, it felt like it was either feast or famine. We're either going to have a 60-yard touchdown run or we're going to basically give the ball back in 2 seconds. With Michigan, you don't ever worry about the defense. They always reload it. Wink Martindale seemingly has figured it out after a couple early blunders last year. I'm not worried about them. And especially when you're heading into this Oklahoma game where I'm hearing rumors they're starting 2 true freshmen on the offensive line next week. It's like, we're going to feast these guys. The only worry I have about the Oklahoma game is their quarterback. This guy's a freaking stud. John Mateer.
He's good.
There's certain guys where you see a highlight and you go, oh, that's a stud. Like, I remember Lamar Jackson, his first game way back when with Louisville. You saw like a few plays on the SportsCenter news that night, and you're like, wow, who the hell is this guy? With the Mateer in that first game, he was like 30 for 37, four touchdowns, basically doing it all with his legs, with his arm. I'm like, wow, this guy could be a problem. It's going to come down to our front. Can our defensive front without Barham, can they get pressure and can they make his life hell like we did to Jalen Milroe in Alabama last year? To me, that's the key of the game. If our defensive line can feast, which we know they can, it's going to be a long night for Mateer. But that's my only concern is that guy. Can he have enough magic, sort of like a Money Manziel magic type game,
right,
where it's just him doing it all? Other than that, I think we're better top to bottom as a team.
Yeah. Well, a win by Michigan on the road at Oklahoma will go a long way to a playoff spot, maybe. It's a big game. I got to go back for just 1 second, guys. Back to that ejection and that whole rule in general. Okay, I get it, but do you feel a little bit of Michigan negativity because of all the stuff that has gone on, and they're not going to get calls like that for a while? You know what I mean?
I mean, you have to wonder. I mean, yeah, you really hope that like collusion isn't happening or something like that. But when the play on the field, like you said, Jared, when the play on the field happened, it felt like, oh man, especially when they said they're going to review it, and you see the replay, it felt like they might get him for head to head.
Yeah.
Unnecessary roughness, something like that. But to call targeting and then eject him, which then results in the suspension, in the moment, it's like, all right, this is ridiculous. But they can appeal it, whatever. They'll review it and say no. And then the NCAA upholds the call. Yeah. That's what makes it feel like,
absolutely.
Oh, geez, the NCAA watched that video and said, yep, that's targeting.
Right.
Because like you said, Jared, I mean, it sure didn't seem like the launch and the crown of the helmet and, that kind of play. So,
well, we watched a lot of football, and I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to protect the players. I get that. But come on. It's not flag football. It's football. Right. You got to have a little levity there. You really do.
It's also like the way, if you watch he's coming off the edge, coming off a block, and then just like basically barrels into the quarterback. It really is one of those where people are like, you got to teach him to tackle, teach him to use his shoulder. They're throwing all that stuff. And it's like, I don't know what he's supposed to do. He's going full speed, coming off the edge, trying to get around the block, and then he just runs into the quarterback. So yeah, it's just kind of tough to criticize that way.
Did they even throw a flag? 'Cause for a minute there, I thought they might have a touchdown. Did they throw a penalty flag?
That's
on
a good
the
question.
play
I don't think they did. I think it was when they were reviewing the fumble, and then they said, let's take a deeper look at the targeting. I'm not sure.
I thought that's what they did.
Yeah, I don't think they called a penalty or anything. It was in the review of the fumble that they also went back and reviewed the hit.
Right.
So yeah, I hope we're not dealing with that all season.
Kidding.
Weird referee calls or anything like that. And then obviously people go, oh, they're trying to get Michigan. I hope it doesn't come down to that. But no, Mateer, I mean, yeah, if we're gonna, move on, but Mateer, Oklahoma's quarterback, he's dynamic. He put up crazy numbers at Washington State last year. And I saw someone do a little breakdown that a lot of his numbers against the good teams that they played, he was like pretty good. And then against, lesser opponents is where he like blew up his stats. Numbers. Does that mean anything? I don't know. Like you said, Jared, when you watch his tape, it's like, no, this kid's really good. So yeah, Michigan's defense is going to have to step up, and maybe hopefully the young offensive line for Oklahoma that helps Michigan get some pressure on Mateer, and and then the big question will be, we already talked about him for 10 minutes or whatever, Bryce Underwood, his first big road game. I mean, he played in however many big games, yes, it's high school, but he played in a bunch of big games in high school, so I don't think he'll shrink in the moment.
No, he doesn't seem like a shrinker. That's like, to me, why I'm so confident in this guy is other quarterbacks, you don't know until you see it. And Arch Manning obviously was a very tough situation he was placed in going into the horseshoe, but it just felt like he was seeing ghosts from the second that game started. Underwood just seems confident. He seems like, and it's a skill. Confidence is a skill, especially when it comes to a quarterback. He walks on the field, he thinks he's the best player. He might think he's the best player in the world. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he thought that. And that's a skill. I feel confident with him heading into Oklahoma. He's going to play well. If Michigan wins or loses this game, it's not a big deal to me. If they get killed, that's a different story. Then you start going, oh God, like what's going on? But if they lose a tight game, no biggie. It's just you keep rolling, you keep building what we have, keep developing Underwood, and hopefully he's ready to roll by Ohio State game. Obviously, you have a big Big Ten slate before that, but
Right.
No, I just feel good. Two other guys that just worth throwing out just for the sake of it because they played so damn well. I mean, Marlon Klein, we talked about him a couple weeks ago. A guy was a freaking stud. 6 catches for 93 yards and a touchdown. I mean, he's the next Colson Loveland. He's the next stud tight end on this team. And then Justice Haynes. I mean, what a great poaching that was of Bama. I mean, two big-time runs. Guy looks like a stud. I mean, I love mauling people on the ground. There's nothing more satisfying than that. So those two guys are key. And then obviously Underwood, like we talked about. It's going to be an awesome game. Now, Michigan State, on the other hand, I think this weekend is a must-win to me. They have to beat Boston College. I don't know if you guys even cared much to watch the Michigan State game at all.
Yeah, I watched.
Like they were finally turning a corner, maybe in that first half, and then you saw kind of Childs kind of revert back to what he's been, which has been a little underwhelming. I mean, fumbled twice, lost one of them, was dinking and dunking. I mean, with Michigan State, I think they have good playmakers and a solid defense, but it all comes down to Childs. Can he take that next step this year? Right. To me, I didn't see it in game number one. And a State fan would probably hear this whole segment and go, what the hell? We beat Western same amount as you guys beat New Mexico by. That's what Michigan does to teams. Like, you don't expect Michigan to be winning by 70. It's like we play good defense. We run the ball. A couple special teams mistakes kind of cost us. But, like, I felt a lot better about how Michigan played in a similar game than how Michigan State played. To me, Michigan State looked like the same team as we've seen the last year and really even before that, before Jonathan Smith even got there. Just underperforming offensively, especially at the quarterback position.
Yeah. Well, big Saturday night game at home for the Spartans, too, against BC. So a lot will be told after week 2. You know, it's not the greatest schedule overall. I don't know if you guys looked at the entire schedule. It was a pretty good week 1, but, you know, week 2 is not that many marquee matchups. But it's good that Michigan will be on ABC. Right. Fowler and Herbie will be there. So that'll be fun to watch. But there were some other storylines from the weekend. You touched upon it. Arch Manning, I mean, that Texas-Ohio State game was a pretty good game, but that run, that quarterback sneak, and even that call, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of criticism of him, obviously, and probably a lot of it is a little unfair because, you know, he was, because of his last name, because he was a 5-star, you know, he went to Texas, he was touted as like a generational QB, and it's kind of one of those things where now it's like, why don't we give the kid a chance to actually start and play and develop and not already say that he's the next Peyton Manning, the next Eli Manning. Let's let him do his thing. So it's probably the expectations were a little unfair. That being said, he's been at Texas already a couple of years. Right. So, you know, you kind of expect him to be a little more ready for the moment, you know, and he did, like you said, Jared, earlier, he shrunk, and it looked like he was seeing ghosts out there, and some of the throws he was making, and I'm no expert by any means, but his mechanics looked just really sloppy for a guy that, you know, has that last name on the back of his jersey, you know, and I've seen some people break it down that like his mechanics are just, he's just out there slinging the ball around, you know. Again, I'm not breaking down quarterback mechanics here, but yeah, it's weird to see. And you hope that he doesn't, because it would be fun to see him, you know, another generation of Manning make it to the NFL. That would be a cool story. So you hope that this doesn't like ruin his confidence in his career, but and he sure didn't look ready. And I saw someone make one good point, and it is kind of, I don't know if it's anything to it, but the competition, like if you go back and watch his high school tape, he didn't play the best competition in high school. I mean, he was playing some pretty bad teams. You haven't
seen the video, and there's literally a kid trotting like what looks like a mile an hour behind him. Like it was like he was like trotting. Like I don't know how else to explain it. Yeah, it's jarring. It's jarring to see that clip.
In the one other thing, the high school, but then he didn't, for whatever reason, I'm sure his family, his, you know, mentors or whatever, he didn't do any of the like Elite 11, any of those like camps that all the like top recruits, Bryce Underwood, CJ Stroud, you know, all Trevor Lawrence, all the top recruits do these Manning passing academies and all these camps, and Arch decided not to, and you know that you just kind of wonder why, and you know maybe some of that stuff is kind of coming out now, you know, again, hopefully not, but
us, and we can take accountability for it as media members. Like we hype this guy up way too much. It's the name, it's everything. It's like, to be honest, we've hardly seen him play, but like you said, it's like he just shrunk in that moment. And there's so many. I'm going to run through a few of the factors that people are throwing out. Sark's play calling. I didn't have too much of a problem with his play calling. I thought it was a pretty decent game to me. Very first play, Arch Manning has a guy wide open, 15 yards downfield. He launches the ball into the dirt. How do you, as an offensive coordinator, as a head coach with this young quarterback, say, all right, let's just put more and more on this guy's plate? That's just such a jarring play to start with. There's no way to go around it. I think Sark did a decent job given what he had a liability at quarterback, for lack of a better term. That's what it seemed like to me watching. Yeah. But people are talking about his age. It's like you said, man, he's in his third year. He could go to the NFL after this season if he wanted to. I mean, we've seen so many young quarterbacks like Bryce Underwood, for example, the Cal quarterback, Jaron Kui Saga. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He looked like a stud as a true freshman. Underwood, as I mentioned, CJ Carr, who is a year younger than Arch, in arguably maybe a tougher game against the best pass rush I saw all weekend in Miami, looked like a star out there. It's like Johnny Manziel is a redshirt freshman, fourth start. He's a year younger than Arch. He's beating Alabama in Tuscaloosa and maybe the most loaded college football team ever. Like, I don't know, J.J. McCarthy, the very first play, his arm talent, we saw that against Western Michigan with that cross field throw. To me, I just don't see how we came into this saying how this guy was so talented. It's overreaction. I'm overreacting like crazy right now. But I see a small quarterback. I didn't see the arm. I didn't see the mechanics, like you said. The accuracy was all over the place. His maybe number one factor is his athleticism. When I watch Sam Leavitt, when I watch John Mateer, when I watch Bryce Underwood, they look a lot more athletic than Arch Manning does. I don't care what his mile per hours were on some run last year against UTSA. Like, I don't know. And I'm being kind of a jerk to him. It's just tough to watch that with all the hype around it. And at one point I saw a great tweet. I don't know who said it. He had more commercials than completions for what felt like the majority of that game. Some of this is that's what kind of makes me question some of the Manning thing. It's like you said, they were smart maybe about kind of keeping expectations low as a family. He's not gonna compete for the starting job with Ewers. He's not gonna do all these camps. But then it's like he's in 5 commercials week 1. It's like we get starting quarterbacks in the NFL like a Baker Mayfield like shit for that when he first came in the league. This kid hasn't even taken really a legitimate college snap yet. It's just, I don't know. I hope it's a better story for college football if he is good.
Right.
But that was just a debacle. No other way around. I think he's going to improve, but to act like he's the runaway Heisman, to act like he's going to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, I flat out don't see it at all. To me, I'm not even sure if he's a top 10 player on Texas from what I saw. I made this joke, and this is an exaggeration, then I'll shut up about it. If you would have told me like that was Davis Warren out there wearing Arch Manning's jersey, like you couldn't have convinced me otherwise. That was a Davis Warren-esque performance out there. Again, I'm overreacting, but that was the legitimate thoughts I had going through my brain watching this. This is Davis Warren 2.0 in the horseshoe.
Except Davis Warren is 1-0 in the horseshoe.
And he scored more points. He scored more points in that game. So that's like, it's not even that crazy to say that. It's just what a wild story. I feel bad for him. I mean, obviously he's got a lot of benefits in life and he's earned a lot of it with a lot of hard work, but I just think the media, we just kind of failed him and put a lot on him. And now there's a big tidal wave coming of criticism. So we'll see where it goes, but just a jarring performance to watch unfold. Again,
a good analysis for week 1, but again, we'll hedge it a little bit. It is week 1. We'll see how he improves during the rest of the season.
And Ohio State's a great defense.
That's right.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Ohio State's a great defense too. So I get that, but man, I don't know. It just the vibe check around him seemed alarming to me. Right. Not even just the plays on the field, just vibes, leadership.
That's fair.
Like the stuff you look for. I don't know.
Speaking of that, on the sidelines, the vibes I was picking up on Bill Belichick. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that. He looked lost to me.
He looked lost. And there, people at work, we've been talking about it for a few weeks, and then it even ramped up after that game in a joking way. But then also we're starting to be like, it might be some serious, like, is something nefarious going on there? Like, is he being held against his will at North Carolina to coach? Because he's older, I mean, not saying anything bad. I mean, like, that doesn't mean anything, but like, it just seems like he's lost his fastball, if you want to say it that way. It was already weird that the best NFL coach ever is going to coach at North Carolina. Like, that's not a shot at North Carolina. It's one of the best universities in the country, but not necessarily for football. So it's like, why are you going to coach at North Carolina? So that's already weird. And then the whole girlfriend thing, she's like 24 Jared's age, and she's down there on the sidelines talking to him. So there's a ton of jokes there. And then the post-game press conference, I don't know if you saw.
What a God-breathed earth, yeah.
There was like a balloon arch around him that looked like it was like a homecoming photo shoot. And people were like, picture Bill Belichick peak New England Patriots winning Super Bowls. And if we told you this was going to be him in a few years, you'd say you're crazy. That whole situation is weird.
His legacy is just getting ripped apart, man. I don't know about you guys. If this flames out, which it is, this is flaming out. If you can't, with that crowd, with those celebrities in attendance against a solid TCU team, but not a national championship TCU team, you can't lay a dud like that. You can't. Right. That was horrendous. The funniest part was Herbie, caught on a lot. He didn't say what people claimed he was saying, but to me, I didn't even think he needed to address it. They are horrible, and it was funny. Everything that Herbie was accused of saying on that hot mic, like, even if it was true, like, that's awesome. Like, yeah, it's funny how bad they are. Like, go ahead and like, let's live it. That's what it is. If you have your dog on the headset because it's such a bad game, like, you can say whatever you want. Like that, but I will say that first drive, how electric it was, the cutting around. ESPN did a great job covering it. Showing Belichick, like right after they scored a touchdown, he's not reacting. Showing Jordan Hudson with Randy Moss in the booth. Showing Michael Jordan, Lawrence Taylor, Roy Williams, they're all high-fiving. And then just for TCU to score, 48 unanswered? It's just it was awesome, dude. The whole thing is bizarre. He lost it with this whole Hudson thing, to me, at least, on the outside looking in. Like, it's hard for me to view him the same way with how Tom Brady's had continued success without him. We know what Tom Brady was. If he comes into North Carolina and you can't even win at the college football level, how am I supposed to view you as the best coach of all time?
Right.
I just don't.
You said the word perfectly. I was thinking the same thing when you said it. Legacy. His legacy, it's not looking good right at the moment, because was it all Brady? Was it Belichick or Brady? And Belichick's a good coach, but like you said, Matt, he's lost his fastball. There was no fire in the belly whatsoever. I mean, he's getting embarrassed on national TV, and there's virtually no emotions whatsoever. I mean, it was crazy to watch. Is he even going to last the season, I wonder?
I mean, you
got to wonder. And honestly, like in talking to people down here, born and raised North Carolina alum or born and raised fans, they're not very big football fans. So they will bail on him pretty quickly. If they start the season 1-4, 1-5, they're already moved on to basketball season. They will move. I mean, we saw the stadium. The place was empty by the fourth quarter.
Halftime.
So, if this doesn't go well, they won't care that Bill Belichick is at the football field.
Right. Big story, big hype, and a big dud.
And people compare it to Deion. They only like Deion, and I think I did actually say on the show, like, I'm over the Deion thing. I think it's a joke. I said that heading into their second year. He's still rolling, still pretty successful for considering the program he took over. Right. Deion started at a lower level and built and did it the right way. And here's just flat out reality. Deion Sanders is a better coach than Bill Belichick is right now. If I'm a player, how is Bill Belichick inspiring me? What is he inspiring me to do in a blowout when we're down 21-7? Deion Sanders, I can see, this guy has it. He's got moxie. Like, I want to follow this guy wherever he takes us, for better or worse. I don't know which college kid is looking at Bill Belichick with a fiance or maybe even wife at this point who is younger than them and saying, I'm going to follow this guy to the end of the world. Like, when we're getting our doors blown off. And then last thing I'll say on the UNC thing, apparently Steve Belichick, his son, is like the heir apparent to take over if this went well. I mean, what is going on with that guy? I mean, the defense is getting gashed. He's got the ponytail. He looks like he's got 80 milligrams of Adderall in his system or something. I just saw that. I'm like, if I was a North Carolina booster and fan, if I'm Michael Jordan and I'm watching this unfold, how do you not just want to be done with it and say, we're over this, man?
Right.
You're not producing wins. You're a circus. We did all this for you. We got the balloon set up for the post-game presser, and you can't even keep it manageable, keep it respectable. Like, good Lord. Right. Their quarterback looked like the worst quarterback I've ever seen. He struggled. And that's another thing. Like, they brought in the backup quarterback, Max Johnson. He's making plays. Like, where was this guy all game? Bizarre situation in Chapel Bill, as they call it. It's just
Chapel Bill.
Not good, man.
Well, they play at Charlotte, the 49ers, the school.
Upset alert.
They should be able to, they might be on upset alert. Then they play Richmond and then UCF, and then they have to go play Clemson, and Clemson's going to absolutely blow their doors off. But
it was going to be a good story if they were good. Now it's almost like as that game was unfolding, I'm like, just keep running the score up, man. Like, let's beat them by 70.
Right.
Similar to the TCU Georgia national championship game, where once it gets out of hand, you just want to see how much they can lose by. Now it's like with UNC, let's see, can they go 0-12? Can they go 2-10? Like, is that possible? And then what do you do with Belichick after that with his huge, salary and all that stuff? Anyway,
yeah.
I just got one other thing in the college football world, and we're already talking a lot about it. I'll just throw it. It's because I bet on them is why it made me so mad. Alabama. Alabama, are you kidding me, man? Are you kidding me? That's just an embarrassing loss. Like, no other way to put it. I don't know what to make of DeBoer. There's been a lot coming out lately, and I just saw the most latest news was that Alabama's not even in the top 30, 35 of NIL, which we know that at Michigan, like we're a top 10 basketball program perennially now because of our NIL. NIL, if you don't have a top 30 NIL, then you don't have a top 30 team. So everybody's blaming DeBoer, and that's the easy thing to do when you replace Nick Saban. To me, the first red flag was when he came in and totally destroyed Nick Saban's office and turned it into like a Gen Z, like Apple Store, like vibe, getting rid of the living legend, like vibe with the wood all in that office. I didn't understand why he did that. But it's just what a disappointing performance from Bama. That's like hard to stomach. You talk about a guy in a hot seat. You talk about Belichick. If you're a Bama fan, how do you see that? A Florida State team that was 2-10 last year, who I wrote off. By the way, Mark Norvell, what an impressive turnaround. Like, that guy can coach. That mother effer can coach. And bringing in Gus Malzahn to run that offense, like, they were freaking impressive, man. They took it to Bama, just like Michigan did, on the line of scrimmage. That's what's jarring about it, is it's not like a fluke win. Like, Florida State dominated that game. So, I don't know. That was, to me, the most jarring thing I saw all weekend was Bama just getting housed. What did you guys think?
Well, I'll just give one quick opinion. I think he is on the hot seat more than Belichick, after that Belichick performance. I mean, I've been hearing reports, you don't know what to believe when you see things, but it sounds like there's not been a lot of discipline with that team, running ragged at night, late night hours and all that stuff. I mean, you would never get away with that shit with Saban. That's for damn sure.
No, and that's one thing that I saw some people putting some plays on, on like a tape. The effort for Alabama, they were getting pushed around. Like linebackers were barely running into the ball, safeties were barely running into the ball, and that's just stuff you never saw with Saban teams. Saban teams, those guys were already NFL ready. Yeah. Like that's why everyone drafted Alabama players with Saban, because you knew day one they could step in and play in the NFL. I mean, the Lions, Brad Holmes has drafted a few, Alabama guys because of that reason. And it's stuff that, I mean, first of all, if you're taking over for Nick Saban, what's the saying? You don't want to be the guy after the guy. Right. If you're Kalen DeBoer taking, right. But kind of like Rich Rod coming in after Lloyd Carr, similar to what you said, Jared, about how DeBoer came in and tried to change stuff. Rich Rod did the same thing when he came to Michigan. A lot of times that's not going to work. It's your program. You want to make your mark and change things and do things your way. But Saban kind of had things rolling. Why are you trying to change things up? I saw, Justice Hayes that are Michigan's running back. Right. He has kind of said a couple things that maybe you could see as some shots that just things are done differently at Michigan, whether it's working out or different, like you said, to add some discipline. Mm-hmm. But Damon Payne, he's a defensive tackle for Michigan who'd also transferred over from Alabama. I saw that a tweet that Wink Martindale and him were watching tape of him because Alabama played Oklahoma last year, and they said, look at you on this tape against Alabama last year. You look like a completely different player. And Damon said, yeah, we work out much differently here. Talking about Michigan, we work out much differently here. We practice harder. Basically saying he said, I'm a completely different person now because the workout routine, nutrition and everything at Michigan is just different than what DeBoer is doing at Alabama. And it's crazy to see because the NIL thing is interesting. And that's part of Saban's criticism the last few years he was there. He was criticizing the whole NIL thing, but he was also trying to be like, why are we not keeping up? He's watching Georgia, LSU, and all these other schools, Texas, spend all this money. And he's like, he's having to shell out money. He's having to do things to get, the boosters to get on board. So it's just that whole dynamic is weird. And you don't want to say that DeBoer is going to be fired because it's a $70 million buyout that he has, but
crazy.
They might do it if they don't make the playoff again this year, which they're already. I mean, their schedule's tough. They might not do it. So
they're off to a bad start.
They've lost, it's crazy to think of that. I think they've lost. I don't know the exact stat. They've lost 4 unranked games since DeBoer's been there, and they lost 1 in the entirety of Saban's career at Bama. It's crazy, the difference and how quickly it's fallen apart. But what I'm hearing from rumors NIL wise is Oregon's spending $40 million on NIL. Bama's around $20 million. Like
Right.
you can't compete with that. Like
Tough.
whether you're Bama, whether you're Michigan, Ohio State, whatever your brand is, if you're getting outspent like that, like I don't know how you like. There's probably a reason. Not only are we maybe a better program currently, I would say we definitely are at Michigan. Like probably gave these guys a little bit more money to come to Michigan than they were getting at Bama, which is crazy to think about. Especially before the NIL world, like everybody says, like SEC was already paying people. It's like now it's like it's been leveled out. It's a level playing field now. So, what do you guys think? Go ahead.
Sort of level. I mean, without a salary cap, it's not level.
Right.
No, but we don't got to worry about that at Michigan. Like,
no, that's true.
We're one of probably the 5 big boys in football and basketball in terms of NIL.
But for the overall product of college football, it's probably a negative, isn't it?
Yeah, not my problem. Not our problem. We'll take these Bama recruits and make them ours. I mean, that's kind of how it rolls now. What did you guys think of Lee Corso's final headset? My one commentary on it. How the hell did I not think to do a Lee Corso parlay of all his picks? It ended up being like, whatever. Like it was like bet $5, win like 10 grand or something like that with all of his picks. He had Florida State winning. He had a couple of the other big upsets. Like, how did nobody think to do that? And then what did you guys think of the overall game day aspect of it?
Well, I'll jump in. Matt's the ESPN guy, and you read different things online, but they had a home run on that. I mean, they did it upright for Corso. It was great. He was there the whole program. I mean, they gave him his props the way he deserved it for sure. It was well done. And I got to say, props to the competition too. Fox for going live to the ESPN feed. I mean, that was class all the way as well. But I thought they did a great job with it.
Yeah, it was something that I know has been talked about for a long time, what they were going to do. They kept it like hush hush that Ohio State was going to be, their band was going to be involved. Yeah, probably, people working on the show obviously knew, but honestly, like I talked to some producers or APs and stuff that are on the show. No one was saying anything. So I don't know if either they didn't know or they really told people on the show, do not say anything about Ohio State's band getting involved, because when that happened, I was like, oh, they got Ohio State's band to spell out Corso. Cool. Like I thought, geez, they're holding up the game because now, the game is getting pushed back. Kickoff was at like 12:20 or whatever it was.
Pushed it back.
Because then even Fox went to their picks after the Corso thing. So that even pushed it back even more. But no, it was really cool. And I'm glad that they did it this week and didn't try to like drag it out the whole season and have him do his final show like the last game day of the year, you know, like
for sure,
not like get it out of the way. You don't want to say it like that, but he clearly it's time for him to go. He's an absolute legend. Do it this week, and now you can kind of move on for the season. Yeah,
I mean, he is a 90-year-old man, for God's sakes. Right. I mean, let him just enjoy the rest of his life.
And game day is at its peak that week 1. That's that's the game day. That's game day Super Bowl. It's not the end of the year at the national championship or wherever. Yeah. It's that Saturday first week of the year. I saw one funny tweet. Politics aside, it was like, man, like Lee Corso he's like just primed to like run for office now. Like that should be what he does next.
Right. He's about as popular as he can be.
Pretty apt. He's like, he's finally ready to run for office. Like, that's about right.
I do have to say one more thing on the Fox big noon show there, though. The addition of Portnoy. I mean, I enjoyed it, man. He went out there and he was right in the Ohio State fans' faces, as a Michigan guy.
My only criticism, and it really isn't being company guy, because Portnoy, he's a Michigan guy, and he obviously has built his brand. He's become a millionaire, he built Barstool from the ground up. So you have to give him credit there. He doesn't. It almost like, at least McAfee played football. He was in the locker room. He has football analysis. Right. He does have the WWE. He's a showman for sure. But he was a football player. His analysis is there. Portnoy is clearly just there to be that loudmouth type of thing, which is fine. That's fine. I'm not like, I don't hate it. I'm not mad about it. But that's my only thing, is like almost like you're making a mockery of the pregame show. But it's entertainment. That's what Lee Corso always said. It's entertainment. So
to me, that it's gonna make me start tuning into that show a lot more, for better or worse. Like I have never ever once seen a clip or anything from the Fox show until Portnoy was on there, and he's mixing up, like he had some Ohio State kid like making fun of his hair transplants. Like it's like one of the funniest 20-second clips I've seen of the weekend, like mocking it for his hair transplant. Like this is hilarious. Yeah, to me, he's going to steal whether you love him, whether you hate him, he's going to steal the headlines a couple times this year for the pregame game day type shows. I didn't think he would be, and it obviously wasn't week one, but he made a pretty big splash with Ohio State, quote unquote, banning him. I don't know if they did or if they didn't. But it's like, man, already you can kind of see the dividends starting to pay where it's like, yeah, right. He can draw eyeballs and he's polarizing, that's what you want for TV. Give me a polarizing figure that a lot of people hate, a lot of people love, and like it's going to draw some numbers. So I'm excited to see where they go with the show. Him and Urban Meyer are a funny dynamic as well. Like, right. Yeah. I can't tell if Urban Meyer loves him or like absolutely hates him. I can't get a read on it. I don't know which one it is. Either one's hilarious. So
well, right. I was the master of the DVR on Saturday morning because I had recorded both of them and I was zipping through both of them. I watched both shows in their entirety before the kickoff. So it was awesome. It was a good day to start the day. Hey, let's move things over real quick, like over to the NFL. The Lions start off 425 at the Packers. The big story, of course, Micah Parsons, man. Jerry Jones let him go. 2 number ones, a pretty solid defensive tackle they got in return. I mean, long term, you got to say the Cowboys did pretty good on that trade, wouldn't you?
It's just it's tough because they drafted Micah Parsons, and you just see all the analysts and stuff talk about this is how you build your team. This is what the Lions are doing. Yeah. You draft good players, then you pay them after their rookie contract, and that's what Micah Parsons was due to get was his big deal after his his rookie contract. Right. But their Packers are paying him $47 million, and TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, those guys are getting like 40, 41, 42.
Hutch is going to be up.
Right. So, yeah, that makes you wonder what Hutch is going to get. So you can almost kind of see like, geez, were the Cowboys really going to go all the way up to $47 million? Maybe they weren't going to go that high. But, yeah, I mean, it just makes you think as Lions fans, great, now we have to see Micah Parsons twice a year for the Packers.
Exactly.
The thing I thought was funny with it was, like, it just came out like a day or two later, like his back is all sorts of fucked up. Which a lot of this stuff, I don't know if is every NFL player playing with something like that, or is that actually like very not good? When I hear a back and I hear an edge rusher, where all you hear about is the bend. What's their bend? It's like I don't know, man. That doesn't seem promising. That he's having to get shots in his back for week one. Right. Like for looking ahead to like a 20-week season. Yeah. It's crazy to me. To me, it's a win now move for the Packers. I saw Amon-Ra said that. It's exactly right. It's like this is the Packers saying, let's go win a Super Bowl this year and next year, and we'll deal with the consequences later. It's like I'm excited to see week one how Micah Parsons look. He's going to look so sweet in the number 1 uniform. That was a great move. He's going to look awesome in that. But to me, it's like it doesn't make me that much more worried as a Lions fan. I feel like I looked up Micah Parsons' stats versus the Lions. So he played 2 times against us, 2022, 2023. He had 2 sacks in the first game in 2022. I'm pretty sure that's when we were not that good at that point.
Right.
He's only had a total of 10 tackles. So it's not like this guy's been a game wrecker versus us. I would expect him to be coming out like on fire for that Thursday night or for that Sunday 425 game, which I think is going to be the number 1 game of the weekend now that Micah Parsons is a part of it. But I'm not worried about it. I'm really not. To me, I thought Jerry Jones actually had a pretty savvy move that he kind of got shat on for right at the time, at the moment of it. But now I think a few days removed, people are starting to realize kind of the vision behind it. It's like I think it made sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, you got a solid defensive lineman. That's a 3-time Pro Bowler plus 2 number ones. It's not that bad, And if he wasn't going to pay the guy, at least he didn't let him walk as a free agent or something.
Right. At least he got something back for it. But hopefully, a lot of people are. I've seen like analysts and stuff talk about the Lions and 15-2 last year, obviously the number 1 seed in the NFC, then lost versus the Commanders in the playoffs. But people are kind of like sleeping on the Lions. I don't know if you guys are kind of thinking the same thing.
Agreed.
Like obviously lost both coordinators and a couple other departures on the offensive line and some other things. But it just seems like everyone's only talking about the Packers, talking about the Eagles, of course, obviously the Cowboys, Commanders. No one's really, even the Vikings, talking about them maybe being a sleeper.
Right.
No one's really talking about the Lions. And I think we all kind of agree. 15-2 is probably a reach. I don't think they're going to go 15-2 again. No. I'm expecting more like 12-13 wins. But 12-13 wins can still compete to win the NFC North again and then obviously be in the playoffs. So I don't know. I feel pretty good about the season.
I think so too. I think the Lions are extremely slept on heading into this year. I had that written in bold here. I actually looked up odds at all the different sports books. Like it's all set at 10.5 over under wins, and everybody's betting the under. The under is like minus 130 at all these books. I understand the schedule and I understand losing the coordinators, which is maybe the most overrated thing I think I've heard all offseason is how we're screwed because we lost our coordinators. This offense is loaded. The defense is going to be fully healthy. Like we're going to be a lot better team this year than we were last year. It's regardless of who's calling the plays. I don't care about it. Ben Johnson, I think, is going to implode in Chicago for what it's worth. But yeah, to me, it seems like everybody's sleeping on him, like you said. I'm hammering them. 11-6. That's easy. There's no way they're not finishing 11-6 or better. That's my opinion.
I like that. I hope I don't put the kiss of death on them, but boys, I did book my room in Santa Clara, just so you know.
Did you do that last year? You did that last year, right?
Oh yeah, but I canceled after that damn loss.
Like this new thing, you just book it, and then if a season falls apart, you just cancel it. It's not a bad strategy. I'm not hating on it. It's actually kind of smart.
Yeah. No, they should be all right. The North will be interesting though. Like we said, the Packers, of course, Bears. I mean, I'm kind of with you, Jared. I don't think Ben Johnson. I mean, maybe he figures it out, but this first season, I feel like could be rough. And then the Vikings. What is JJ McCarthy going to be with the Vikings? It kind of sucked. I want JJ McCarthy to be really good in the pros, but not in the Lions division.
They made a pretty good move getting Thielen from Carolina to complement Jefferson.
Addison is back. Yep, until Addison is back. And I think Thielen's been pretty damn good, really, with Carolina. Like through the first 5 weeks of last year before he got hurt, he was like kind of like lighting it up in fantasy.
Right.
To me, do you guys honestly with Micah Parsons, do you think the Packers are like this propelled them to Super Bowl like favorites? Like not necessarily favorites, but like to a Super Bowl team? To me, it didn't. I don't view him that much differently with Parsons. Obviously, he's a great player, but I don't know. They lost a pretty damn good player in Clark, like a defensive tackle as it is. Now they don't have first-round picks the next 2 years. Like, I don't know if I love the move for the Packers. And to be honest, I don't view them much differently than I would if they were the damn Cowboys with Micah Parsons. Like, it's about the same team to me.
It is.
Packers, maybe it's me and a me problem. Nothing about them has scared me since the Dan Campbell era, since we exercised those demons against Rodgers on that Sunday Night Football game. Like, we own that squad. We're gonna take it to them on Sunday. I'm guaranteeing it. Taking it to them.
I hope you're right, because I don't think we totally owned them, because I went to a damn Thanksgiving Day game at Ford Field that Lions lost to them.
Right.
Sure. Well,
when it matters, we take it to them.
I was gonna say, Thanksgiving's been weird, the last few years or longer, but. No, I'm kind of with you, Jared. I think it makes them better, but doesn't make them immediate Super Bowl favorites, at least in my opinion.
So what do the Lions need to do? Okay, we're saying 11-6, 12 wins maybe, and make a run towards the Super Bowl. Stay healthy. That's number one, right?
Yeah.
Offense is going to be phenomenal again, even without Ben Johnson, right?
Yeah.
The question mark still now is the defense. Hutchinson, I'm very confident he'll come back strong. You know, the linebacking core is pretty good, obviously. Secondary should be good as well. Maybe not as much depth as they could have, but they seem to have the pieces. They got the special teams. They got the kicker, the punter. I mean, they're solid. I mean, this is the best Detroit Lion era I have lived through, guys. I mean, I was technically alive when they won their last championship in '57, but I've seen some bad teams roll through town, and the Dan Campbell era is as good as it gets, man.
Because even after the 91 NFC Championship game,
right?
They kind of fell off a little bit, right? Like 92 was a good season, but then they kind of fell off a little bit there, and then when Scott Mitchell came in to be quarterback, they had a couple decent years
decent years, and that was mostly because of Barry Sanders, and they had some pretty good defensive players in those days too.
Yeah, but I mean, this, like you said, this era right now, I mean, I think health is the big thing, because everything else on paper, they should be fine. If Goff plays the way that he has, if Hutch is back to the way he was before he got hurt, there's no reason this team can't be one of the favorites in the NFC.
They got to keep their quarterback healthy. Their quarterback's got to stay healthy.
Outside of the Eagles, I honestly think we have the best roster in the NFC outside of the Eagles.
Yeah,
so it's
I agree.
I take our chances against anybody outside of the AFC. Like the AFC, you just take your chance in the Super Bowl, but it's like you run into a supernova like a Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. That's another thing. But in terms of just pure roster and what we see in the NFC, I'm not worried about it. I take our chances. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. Buffalo. Buffalo versus Lions, 40-1. Let's see if it happens.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. First time appearance ever for the Lions, and whoever wins that game will be the first ever Super Bowl winner for that franchise.
Pretty unlikely that it unfolds that way, but that's what I was feeling at the time. So.
That'd be an awesome Super Bowl.
I got one other tidbit on the NFL. I think you guys know, man. Did I ever stumble into something fantastic on my cable system? $10 a month for the Red Zone, man. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah,
people are mentioning on. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say about the commercials.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and it's not even an ESPN thing. I actually heard rumbles that it's a Scott Hansen thing. That he might have been one of the guys pushing for commercials.
Needed a break.
I don't know. It's just funny how this stuff comes out. People shit on ESPN or whoever. It's an NFL thing. It's not ESPN. Like I don't think ESPN's under control of Red Zone at this point. So it
not this year.
So. No. Yeah, and people are overreacting. Like, okay, if there's a few, like, let's see how these commercials are unfolded. If they're as frequent as a normal NFL game, all right, that's a problem. But if it's in some of those down periods of Red Zone, which if you watch, you understand what that is. Who cares? A couple commercials, who gives a shit? Like that's an overreaction of the week. That's what that is.
Well, don't you agree though that the bonus of all time $10 a month extra to have it for me?
It's all time deal. Yeah, I'm jealous. Yeah. That's what I mean. That's why I said you should share your login with us if you were a friend.
You notice I ignored you on that, right?
Right. Yeah. I was gonna give you grief because I was gonna say that's why there's commercials now in Red Zone because you're only paying $10 a month for it. They lowered the price and now they're adding commercials.
It's a good time to get up, go to the bathroom. That's all I can say. All right, let's. Anything else we need to get on the table here in big time football?
No,
we're good to go. All right, let's take another break and we'll come back. We'll have our prep spotlight and maybe a little Tedertainment Tonight right after this. All right, guys, we have a little bit different format this year. We're trying to kind of go statewide, also with some local stuff here in the Jacobs Insurance Agency Prep Spotlight. Who wants to start it off?
Go ahead, Jared.
I can. Mine's actually looking ahead to next week. Let's just throw it out there. I saw some of the Alex Pallone tweeted out some of the top matchups, ranked matchups in the state next week. I just circled a couple that I can't wait to see. I mean, Granville has come from nowhere. If you remember Granville when they built that brand new stadium, probably 2012, 2013, anybody who went there, you probably realize, like, dude, if the right coach gets here, where this is located at in the state, like in these facilities, like it can turn into a freaking big time program. And that's what's happened. So they had a big win week one. Now they're headed, they actually beat Muskegon week one, 44-40, big time program win. Now they play Castec, number one team in the state at Granville. I think that's just going to be an awesome game. I can't wait for that one. But my number one game of the week looking ahead is number 18 Notre Dame, Pontiac Notre Dame Prep versus number 30 Jackson Lumen Christi. To me, this is a high school football matchup. This is the type of games that should be happening. This is like when Alabama plays Florida State. It's like these teams would never ever see each other in the playoffs. Never, like, let's just have a fun matchup just for the sake of playing football. And that's what we get here. Just two clashing styles. Both of them won the title in D5 and D6 last year. I just can't wait to see how that one unfolds. It's going to be fun to see. No matter who wins, there is no loser in that game. Both are going to get better from it. So I'm just excited to see those two games. There's a lot of other great ones as well. Mona Shores versus River Rouge is a good game. Clarkson, Harper Woods, another one of those fun games that you never really see. I'm excited to watch that one. So a lot of great games still to be had. DeWitt Mason is a good one too. So just looking forward ahead to those. Obviously, let's look back on last week now.
Yeah, well, you covered some games to look forward to. I'll concentrate more on a player in our area here in mid-Michigan. New Lothrop opened up the season with a 35-7 win over Muskegon Catholic Central. The Hornets were led by sophomore quarterback Carson Agnew, who accounted for 5 total TDs, 18 of 20 passing, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also ran for 101 and 3 more scores. So salute to him as my prep spotlight here presented by Jacobs Insurance. And, it's nice to see New Lothrop bounce back after a down season last year, even though they've had some success against Muskegon Catholic. Clint Galvis has a young team, and they're going to be very competitive in that MMAC this season for sure. And the future looks pretty bright again for the Hornets.
I mean, if you're starting a sophomore quarterback, you have a lot of confidence in him, first of all. But yeah, you're hoping that this is building for, this year, but also the future. I was going to throw out, I don't know if you guys saw, I think I retweeted it from our 3 Point podcast. So I think it was our friend Tyler at Michigan Football Frenzy tweeted the score out. But Beale City versus Ravenna. Do you remember seeing that the score of that game? So Beale City, obviously they're a D8. I mean, they're in the playoffs. It seems like every year. I feel
solid program.
Yeah, solid program. They won the state championship last year, actually in D8. They're one of those programs that feels like you always hear about them making playoff runs. And when I worked on the west side, Ravenna was another one. I remember always people talking about Ravenna was always a really good team. But the final score, so they played last week, first game of the season, 15-2. Beale City beat Ravenna. And when Tyler from Michigan Football Frenzy tweeted that out, I just had to laugh and be like, what kind of score is that?
Don't
Michigan
see that
Football
every
Frenzy. So there's a Twitter page. It's called like Football Scoreagami.
Yeah.
And it's nerdy type of stuff, but it's an interesting follow. They go through on NFL Sundays the odds, of the final scores. Like, has a score ever happened? And the odds that this score could ever happen in an NFL game. So I was curious. 15-2. Had that ever happened? Answer: no. Over 15,000 NFL games have been played.
Never.
Regular season, playoffs.
I guess there's maybe a 14-2.
15-2 has never happened.
It's the 15 that throws it all out of whack, man. And obviously the 2. It's, to me, how I imagine that game. Beale City the game was probably over in an hour and a half. Just running. Defenses getting stops. Like, it was just a classic Division 8 game, if I had to imagine. That's Scoreagami is classic. It'll be like, man, there's like there'll be a random score 45 to 11. It's like, oh, this happened on March or not March, but October 10th, 1998. Like, it's like, what?
Right.
Oh yeah, you're exactly right. That's kind of crazy that score hasn't ever happened. So
you're saying if you have a Super Bowl square, 5-2 is not going to be your friend. I mean, it could be 25-22 or something, but still, that'd be tough.
Right. But even that would be an odd score. So those wouldn't be your squares. But 15-2. That's also one of those, if you're sitting there in the stands. I mean, unless you're a fan of Beale City, that probably not the most enjoyable game to watch in the stands.
Defensive struggle. All right. Well, that is our prep spotlight presented by Jacobs Insurance Agency. For all your insurance needs, contact the great folks at Jacobs. Let's take another little short pause and finish up strong with some Tedertainment Tonight right after this. All right, guys, I'll start it off here for us. I got one show that I watched. I highly recommend it if you're a music fan and if you're a Billy Joel fan. Billy Joel and So It Goes. It was basically a 5-hour documentary, broke up into 2 parts.
It's awesome.
And it told, you saw it? It told
No, I've heard it's awesome. I've heard it is. Awesome.
It is 3 thumbs up, tremendous. Had a lot, I know Billy Joel pretty well. I know all his music, but I didn't know a lot of the background, especially when his younger days. It was really well done. They had a lot of footage from when he was his first bands that he started out with, and the guy is obviously a musical genius, so highly recommend it.
Kind of a bizarre, and this is where I heard some rumblings about it, kind of a bizarre home life. Like, he was in love with his roommate's wife, or what was the deal with that? Or
his best friend, he ran around with his best friend and his best friend's wife. When I say run around, they hung together,
right?
And he ended up falling in love with her, and they ended up getting married.
Pretty nuts. Wait, so they did? What is going on? What is that sound?
What is that sound?
Is it coming from me? Maybe it is. I don't know. It's funny.
Does someone have their Halloween decorations out?
That's that's exactly what it sounds like. That's hilarious.
What the hell is that? It's coming from here somewhere.
That's creepy, man. You're kind of in like a dark basement down there too.
Hold on. Should we stop recording? I got to find out what the hell that is.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead and find it.
I'm out.
It literally sounds like a T-Rex like screaming, like electronic T-Rex. What the hell? That's great.
I didn't know if he heard that or not.
What could that be? Air? Like an air vent, maybe?
Almost sounds like
you got it, whatever it was. That's hilarious, man. What was it?
God.
Oh, he doesn't got his headphones in.
That was completely bizarre. It's a clock I have that it's got an alarm on it. I guess it was an alarm. I never heard that. It was sitting over by my TV over there, for God's sakes. Where we?
Yeah, I can pick it up.
Okay.
So they got married. He married this girl.
Yeah. I mean, they fell in love, and it was his best buddy that helped him get his music start and the whole deal, man. They were together for a long time. She ended up being his manager. I mean, they were probably married at 15, 20 years before Christy Brinkley and that whole situation came around. Yeah, it was definitely a bizarre part of the story, but it kind of fit, it's something maybe you didn't know about.
Right.
But highly recommend that.
Yeah, so it's mainly just a look at his life. I mean,
yes.
That's the main part of it. Where can you watch it?
That's on HBO Max.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Then I was going to bring up a second thing. Jared brought it up a few weeks ago. The WWE Unreal. I watched all 5 episodes of that. Fantastic, man. That was a great look at behind the scenes of big time wrestling.
I thought so too. It just gave you a look at maybe a more of appreciation of what they go through, like the thought behind every decision they make, whether it's right or wrong. I know a lot of people bitch. This is inside baseball, but they made John Cena a heel, and people freaked out and said this is horrible. So they fixed it, retconned it. Now he's back to being a good guy. So it's just funny to see what goes behind the scenes into those productions. I'm not a WWE fan, but definitely gave me an appreciation for it. I'm sure you probably felt the same way.
Yeah, and there was a time when I was into WWE with Hulk Hogan and Macho Man and all that era, and I've kind of been away from it. But this series kind of makes me want to get back into watching it again, seeing the storylines and some of the different wrestlers that I really wasn't paying much attention to. Everybody knows about John Cena and The Rock, but Cody Rhodes, he's kind of the people's champion now. And on the women's side, the women are just fantastic. Rhea Ripley, she's I kind of zoomed in on her. She's kind of a bad girl from Australia.
She's got that star power, that effect. She definitely has that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to watch another good 5-part kind of documentary behind the scenes of WWE, that one's on Netflix. And then I got one other one, guys. I was criticized maybe a little bit for not going out to first run movies, and when this one was out, I would have gone to it, but I didn't think my wife was going to get into it. Sinners. I finally got a chance to watch Sinners, and that's also on HBO Max right now. And it's one of the more clever takes on vampire movies I've seen. I mean, it was really, really good. It's got Michael B. Jordan in it. He played twin brothers in the movie, and it takes place in 1932 in the South. And the whole concept of it, I won't give it away, but very creepy and very well done on the writing. I thought it was a nice twist on the vampire genre. So
I forget, did you watch it in theaters, Jared? I feel like you gave a review on this, right?
Yep. I saw it in theaters. I've seen it twice now. I watched it when it came out on streaming about a month ago too. Great flick. I loved it, man. I mean, Michael B. Jordan's about as cool as they get in that movie. Yeah. He's badass in that.
He is. And I think now that I've watched it, I think my wife could handle it. So I'll watch it again and let her watch it with me.
Honestly, my hero of that movie was the villain, Remick. I thought I thought that actor, and whenever he was on screen, it was dynamic. I thought he was really, I could have used more Remick screen time. I think that was my initial critique when I saw it a few months ago. I could have used more Remick. He was awesome.
He was a good villain. Did you see it, Matt?
I haven't seen it. We've talked about watching it. So did you see a lot of because there was a lot of racial storylines kind of, right? Is what some people said. Did you kind of pick up on that stuff?
I wouldn't say there was a lot of it. There was a twist with the KKK thing, but it wasn't a major part of the movie. Did you think so, Jared? I mean, it was definitely a part of it, but
right.
Yeah, I think it was more so the time. I mean, there's probably some themes and there's themes and stuff like that, like any other movie.
Right.
So yeah, it was. I thought it wasn't over the top in any way. Right. I thought it was just a good flick that. Yep. Yeah, it maybe made you think a little bit. Obviously, made you realize how hell life was in the South in the 1900s, and obviously before that, it's obviously not a good spot to be. So
right.
I remember seeing some people give that as a criticism, that took away from the movie, but people criticize movies for whatever the heck they want to. I'll give mine real quick. Speaking of music documentaries, Eminem has a movie that I guess you could call a movie documentary, Stands.
Yeah.
Came out on Paramount Plus. I'm obviously an Eminem fan. I mean, when he came out, burst onto the scene. It was right in my wheelhouse. I was in middle school going into high school. So I've always been a big Eminem fan. I don't know if I would call myself a stan, but crazy thing about that, obviously that comes from his song Stan, but that got so popular and people started using that word so much that they talked about it in the movie. The Oxford Dictionary, it's an actual word now. So Eminem basically invented a word, which is kind of crazy to think about. But the documentary, it's really well done. It's, I think it's one of those, I'm definitely not giving it a 3 out of 3 thumbs up, like you did the Billy Joel one or some other ones. Me being a really big Eminem fan, I really enjoyed it. If you weren't, I wouldn't say it's a must watch. It's kind of cool. They have him, they interview him, they talk about his career. They kind of go through his career from start to finish, some of the ups and downs, and they interview 10 stans, basically 10 Eminem super fans, and talk about like how they connect with Eminem. And it's more like a deep look at how his music connects with his fans, why they are stans. So it's kind of like a more interesting look at why, but you could kind of relate this to any musician, anyone that people, would be a stan of Billy Joel or, whoever. And, Eminem's music spoke to them for this reason, or they were going through this tough situation and Eminem's music spoke to them through this. So it was really interesting to hear their perspective and then hear about, the ups and downs, trials, tribulations that he went through and stuff like that. So, am I saying it's a must watch? No, it's definitely something. If you have nothing else to watch and, you like Eminem or you enjoy his music, definitely give it a watch. But
as a Tedertainment critic, would you say they had too much of stans and not enough of Eminem?
That would be, I liked hearing the stans, but I said that a few times. Like really, Eminem wasn't in it a bunch. I would have loved just a documentary about him, him,
right?
And then maybe with a little bit of the fans. And
that's fair.
Are all the fans weirdos? I'm guessing is that.
No, I mean I wouldn't say weirdos. They definitely were interesting people, but not in any bad way. Not being, not criticizing or anything, but no, they were stans for sure.
People have weird fandoms of shit, man. It's hard to like. I'm trying to think of what would be mine. Like, what's something I'm a fan of that's like weird. I don't know. Football maybe, but like I don't know. We all got our weird fandoms and stuff. I probably won't even admit whatever it is if it did come to my brain. Anyway, I just have one weird one. I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna kind of tease it. I don't even know. It's not my type. I'm actually shocked. I am shocked that you guys haven't brought this up yet. Beale City. So Beale City's #1 show on Netflix right now. It's about a quote unquote is the #1 thing on Netflix right now is set in Beale City, this documentary called Unknown Number, the high school catfish.
Oh yeah. My wife actually just mentioned it about watching it. Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil it because it's basically it's just a long lead into unveiling who is this catfisher in this bizarro setting. It's weird that it happened in Beale City. All I can say is once the twist is revealed on who is the catfisher in this predicament, I couldn't watch it anymore. I was so this person is such a fucking weirdo. I can't even watch it anymore. I had to stop watching it.
Well, let me stop you for 1 second. You're not talking about Beale City, Michigan, are you?
Yeah, Beale City, Michigan.
That's what this is
basically
about?
what happened is. So I'll give you the teaser. So what happened?
So you know what catfishing is, right?
Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
So this high school couple that were like a sophomore, like 2 sophomores in high school or whatever, they were getting hundreds of texts a day saying stuff like your boyfriend doesn't love you, he hates you. You have a flat ass, all this weird ass stuff, weird messages. Right. I'm gonna suck him, and it's just the weirdest stuff you've ever imagined reading in a text.
Whoa!
And hundreds of them. The whole thing is trying to figure out who is doing this. The FBI gets involved. That's how they finally solve it. Is just tracking it back to that phone. But yeah, it's a nutso story, man. And but my mom was the one that recommended it. It's just bizarre. It's not my type of show, but it was riveting because they did a very good job of basically making it a mystery. Let's go step by step on who this could possibly be. And once it's finally revealed who it is, and let's just say there's body cam footage of when it's revealed. It's the weirdest footage I've ever seen in my life. This body cam, it's jarring. So yeah, it's worth a watch, but it's definitely one of those that make you go this is just a fucking lunatic. I don't know what I'm supposed to take from this other than this person is the craziest person maybe of all time.
Wow.
So,
and they're sickos. Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw someone post a spoiler basically, so we're still gonna watch it though. But
right.
Yeah, I've seen people say like what you just said, Jared. Once they found out who it was, it almost like twisted their stomach so much that they were like, I can't finish this show. I can't, so.
And it's funny because it's like, to me, an added bonus was that it's Beale City. We know what that school is. We know what that town is. It's like 40 kids in the school. And they're like explaining like, yeah, this was like all we talked about for like a year. And then this whole thing comes and then Netflix comes and it's like, I'm just like, man, Beale City's kind of like popping off right now. Like they got a great football team. Now they got Netflix at their door. Like, man, Corona needs to have some scandal breakouts so that we can have Netflix show.
How was it done? I mean, was it well done as a documentary?
Yeah, Netflix's documentaries are like they're top tier, man. It's pretty rare that I watch one of those. I mean, we saw the same thing with Amy Bradley, where you watch, you go like, yeah, it's well done, well put together. Like that's pretty much my review on a lot of those Netflix ones, man. They seem to have it done right when it comes to documentaries. So,
and how many parts?
It's just one. It's just a one like hour 20, hour 30. It's like a movie, basically. Yeah.
That's on my agenda for tomorrow. I can see it right now. All right. I think we got another podcast, guys. And you can tell we got a lot of football out under our belt from this podcast, getting it out there. It's gonna be a fun season. Lions started off on Sunday afternoon. I mean, that's gonna be prime time, baby. Dinner time with the Lions.
Imagine next week, Bryce Underwood lights it up. Michigan beats Oklahoma. Like he's probably maybe the Heisman favorite if he does that.
He'll move up.
Then the Lions beat the Packers on Sunday at 4:25. Like next week is gonna be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe a potential big interview as well. That's teaser.
I was going to mention that at the end. We got the next couple of weeks. We got a couple of pretty good interviews lined up. I won't say who they are because sometimes these things drop off. But we'll see if we make our connections. But we're very excited. I'll just say this: we got a couple of big time authors lined up. So we look forward to chatting with them in the next couple of weeks. So this has been the 3 Point Podcast, brought to you by Memorial Healthcare's Wellness Center. The walk-in clinic is now available for sports-related injuries, 8 to noon every day, Monday through Friday. No appointment needed. Just follow the Wellness Center on Facebook. Also, I want to thank our other great partners, AZee Branding Solutions, Jacobs Insurance Agency, Kori Shook & Associates Real Estate Services, Nelson House Funeral Homes, Nichols Painting, Rivals Taphouse and Grille, Success Group Mortgage and Servicing, not only licensed in Michigan, but they can help you out in California, Colorado, Florida, and Texas. Also, the Shiawassee County Fair. It's getting close to that time. You want to store stuff out there in the barns. It's coming up. Contact Dawn at the fair. And ALS of Michigan, our next Z92.5 game of the week. We had him on the podcast, our prep preview, Jason Beldiga, and the Cavaliers will be taking on Linden in a crossover matchup out of the Flint Metro League. You can hear Casey and Bart, and I'll be in the booth chiming in a little bit myself at Nichols Stadium. That'll be Friday night. And like I said, next couple of podcasts, got a couple of good guests lined up. So tune in next time right here on 3 Point Podcast. Peace and love, everybody. Be kind. Thanks for listening.